My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber. Stop sleeping. Wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your hands. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. Fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. I said no one to trust. My people don't want to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they said they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. The people tired. They tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation is poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So, why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt.
Well, let me say good evening to you, our viewers. And let me say good evening also to Mark Kai there from Sweden. Mark, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Good. Today is what? Tuesday. How was your weekend?
My weekend was great.
Good.
Just been following the unfolding in, for example, in Niger, right? Where you have the Nigerian civilian back, what you call military regime asking the French ambassador, right, to leave the country, and the French are imposing that they're not going to leave. But when it comes to the Ukrainian asking the Russian to leave their territory, then it's okay. But when it comes to the African man asking the imperialists or the colonial, because if we go to what is colonialism, colonialism is no different from imperialism, and imperialism is no different from a slave master. So when the Nigerian asking that the colonial France asked to leave their territory, the ambassador most especially, that is meddling in the affair of a sovereign nation to leave their country, then they say, oh, that is, they're not going to listen to that particular government except for the one that was elected with the so-called democracy. And, you know, the topic is very, we got other things to discuss, but the topic is very wide. Yeah, when it comes to this so-called democracy that we as third world countries, because it's not third world countries, because it's not only Africans and South American and Asian or Middle Easterns, that the minority Western supremacy try to impose on the other people, that democracy in their form of definition is the will of the people. Yeah. So it's something. And today after work, having a conversation with a friend at work when it comes to this democracy, and listen to few songs of the legend, the philosopher, one of the greatest philosopher, which was BMW, when he talked about just to, I mean, I'm saying the initial, right, BMW, but Bob, a lot of people, millions of people, billions of people know who Bob is, Bob Marley. You know, there's a song that he played, and it's called Crazy Bald Head, right? And anybody that listen to that song, or people that are familiar with that song, chase those crazy bald head, right? It's a song that has a deep philosophical interpretation. So the con man games always catches up with the con man and doesn't think that they can fool millions of people all the times. But you can fool a man once, but you cannot fool a man, and on it.
You can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time.
Not all of the time. And the sooner the con man recognize that time is up and change the game to be a win-win situation for everybody, the better it will be. Yeah. Like in South Africa today, if you look at South Africa apartheid, when the Dutch, most especially the Dutch, right, when they created a system that, oh yeah, they are the superior race. But today, if you go into South Africa, there's some documentation, because this thing they call conspiracy theory. I'm one of the person who believe in conspiracy theory. What is conspiracy theory? And thanks to Professor Chomsky and John Locke, you understand, if you and I were to write a book, right? We conspire to write a book. That's conspiracy. We conspire to write a book. You understand? We conspire to put together a theory. So, but this particular group, for example, this media, which is one of the biggest propagandist machine of this, what I call it again, Western supremacy. Then they defeminize other people to say, oh, that's conspiracy theory. But once you and I come together to write something, we conspiring to write something. That doesn't make it force. You understand? Because you and I come together to write something doesn't make it force. But this particular group, they demonize other people, and that is one of the reasons that they try to censor, to have control over, because most people now are deviating or diverting from what we call journalism. And journalism, pure journalism, is no longer since the Vietnam War, and you understand the end of the Vietnam War, because there where we that's the time we have pure journalism. But since we entered the era of the 80s, journalism, pure journalism is no longer, because most of the media institutions, they have shares in the armed ministerial complex, and these political institutions that go around the world and try to how you call demonize other society, that they are the only people that have the truth, and you understand the facts to what one should listen to. Yeah. So, Linfo,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, it's good to sometimes hit the war stage and talk about war events. But we want to say welcome to all of our viewers. If you're joining us the first time, we say this is the bottom line where we discuss the issues and we give our opinion, and Mark is giving his opinion and also explaining some of what he has observed on the international front. He started with the situation in Mali, or in Niger, and I have personally had enough problem with that Nigerian situation, because the very fact that ECOWAS, or ECOWAS countries, the 16, 17 countries in West Africa, will want to dictate what happens, or not all of them do. Some of the countries in West Africa, at least 6, 7, 8 of them, will want to dictate what happens to the rest of the people. And these people sit there, they see bad governance. And let me tell you, those countries that are going together to say they want to reinstate that government or ousted in Niger are the same people who are in the same category with the Nigerian government, the one that was deposed. Because it's like you are in a witchcraft, right? So when they catch one of you, outside, the way they're treating you, the way they're treating him, you say, what? I think if they catch me too, that's how it will be. So it's better, let's play the biggest witch to see if we can get rid of these people. That's exactly what those countries are doing. Because look in their closet, look at them. I mean, you said there's a constitution for every country. And if some of the constitutions say that you can have a second term only, you cannot have a third, fourth, fifth term. But he said there, one guy who also came through the barrels of the gun, he forced himself through the democratic process by rigging some election, and he became president by some means. And then you say he's genuinely elected by the people, okay, and you don't do anything. You wait, his first term is over, his second term by constitution is over, then he changes the constitution that empowers everybody in that country, even the civilian. The constitution empowers them to rise up. Then you go, and when the people move in, then you come and say, oh, no, it doesn't make sense. That is cool by itself.
Look, Brother Linford, for example, right, the Western supremacy, they say they always use this phrase or articulation that, oh yeah, for example, like Niger, right? They say, oh, Niger is one of the poorest country in Africa. Man, what the fuck wrong with you? I mean, excuse my expression, and to our viewers, right? How can you say a country, okay, that has almost 25% of the world uranium, okay, and you refer to them as one of the poorest people?
Yeah,
the country that has gold, diamond, okay? Then you say they are one of the world poorest people, like the fool, I mean, Joseph Borrellos, okay? The European, how they call it, said, chief, I forget his title, that look at the rest of the world and say, oh yeah, they are a forest and Europe is the garden. Man, but you never finish from the forest. You always go in a forest, for example, you learn for, you say, oh, you the garden and I'm the forest. But you never finish for him a forest when you want pepper. You never finish for him a forest when you want potato green. You never finish for him a forest when you want cassava. You can't in my without my forest, you can't
forest is
feed.
where everything is.
Where everything is. Then you say, oh, these people are poor people. We are only poor because the imperialist, the colonial system that is being imposed on us. And that is one of the reasons of all the African, or one of the African that support the multilateral system now that is being created by the BRICS. And I wish they encourage more countries to be part of the BRICS. But one thing I'm against that, to use any of the countries' currency to be the dominant currency, for example, like what we have, the US dollar, right? To be the so-called currency that all countries should trade with. But they should rather come up with a currency that no country has advantage over or monopoly over. For example, like what China, I watched a documentary that China trying to manipulate the system that the Chinese yuan, right, should be the currency for international trade among the BRICS country. That I'm against. But they should form a currency that create a bank, and that bank should be the only institution to print that particular currency, that how much it's going to be, and distribute it according to the value of mineral resources across.
I think they're going to work on modalities. I mean, those countries are not small countries. They are world power countries. I'm sure China will not say, okay, Russia, you make your currency, the official currency of BRICS, or Brazil will not say, I want to make mine the official one, or India, or South Africa, or China. So I think they will work on their modality. But by way of information to our viewers, we want to say thank you for joining us. Please share the show. Do not think we are boring you down. It's going to be interesting. We have a guest on the show tonight. We're going to have a very strong guest on the show tonight, and we'll be discussing. By the way, that guest is a vice tenor bearer of an independent political party, or an independent candidate. That guest is a vice tenor bearer to an independent politician who wants to be president of Liberia. So she'll be here to tell us all about their party, their independent party, their vision for Liberia, and the rest of that. So don't think we are boring you down, but we just discussing some international event. But Paul is in Liberia, and I want to say thank you, Paul. You are sharing the show. You managed to share, and I am sharing it too. So I hope those of you joining us can share. And it is not letting me get on. So says our guest. I know she's listening to us. So I will. Mark, let me ask you one question. Why are you trying to answer that question? I can get to our guest and see. Yeah. But the question is, it's not a question per se, but it's just a general discussion. You see, on the political field in Liberia today, we have all these attacks and counterattacks. I see, CPP and Unity Party people at each other's throat. I'm in the middle as well. Let me admit, because I will not sit down for anybody to denigrate my candidate that I support. Okay, and you see CDC on the other side also with the CPP and also with the Unity Party. Everybody's like, the rest of the parties are so quiet. They have to hear the other parties, but the three parties are at each other's throat. Why is that? Is it because they are the three considered to be the three runner-ups, or three front runners, or what? Tell me, speak to me.
Yeah, to answer your question, Brother Linford, the three political parties are the main contending for the presidency. And looking at, as I stated on many occasions on our show, that Mr. Cummings, is a builder. Looking at, where he took he has gotten the ANC from, to become one of the talk of the town or the political spectrum in Liberia. That, for example, we had the CDC that been around since 2005. We have the Unity Party that been around for almost, 2 decades, the same as the CDC being around for 2 decades, and ANC has not been around for a decade, okay? And for Mr. Cummings to be part of that particular, and you understand, discussion, and you have CDC going against Unity Party, you understand, the two of them going at each other, because the thing here is that, you know, Unity Party, believe it or not, Unity Party gave CDC the edge to say what they want to say, that you cannot criticize me because the oil, if you put your hand in the jar, right, in the red palm of jar, right, and the oil only stop around your wrist, right, you can still say, okay, I can clean my wrist. But when the oil has come all the way to your elbow, there is no way you're going to clean that oil, because at the end of the day, if you got on a cotton shirt, that oil going to start claiming off this, you know, the upper arm. There's no way you can get rid of that oil so easily. So CDC continue.
So let me ask you. Our guest was on, or I think she went by again, but she's coming on. But let me ask you this question. So with the three parties at each other's throat, and if indeed they are considered to be the three front runners, there is a situation that may play out here. As we know, the political landscape in Liberia does not allow for, or not that it does not allow, but it makes it almost, if not impossible, but quite difficult for one party to just come out with the constitutional number of 50+1% of the vote. So it means that with the three parties in the race, two automatically, understandably so, two will have to go for second round. But with all this choking and kicking and boxing and punching, do you think it's going to help?
We have to continue pushing this, how they call it, Genesis, right? That we Liberian and Africa or African, we have the key, the solution to our own problem. And Liberia, most especially your question, we have the key, the solution to our own problem. What do I mean by this? For example, we have to keep trying until we find the rightful person that will set the basic, you understand, for that country, for generation upon generation to follow. And we, as Liberian, we have to be sincere to ourselves. If we love our country, not to put tribalism before our country, not to put, friendship before our country, not to love an individual before our country, because if we do away with these things, right, we will know that, okay, Linford has been in government or being part of this particular establishment, and what has Linford or this establishment that Linford was connected to done for this country? So for that reason, these people, they need not to be trusted. So we need to give this other person a chance. And how do you judge a person who has not taken this particular position or who has not been part of the establishment or this particular so-called, because I don't believe in something they call elite, right? Because if one go into the linguistic aspect of what is elitism, then you get to know that elite, they are a group of people, it's a cabal, you understand? That they support one another, they give credence or preferences to one another because they are part of the same group of, and you understand, establishment or whatsoever. So if you look at our problem in Liberia, the reason why we're having a discussion as to the CDC, the ANC, or the CPP and the Unity Party is because we are not sincere to ourselves. Looking at Unity Party 12 years and looking at CDC 6 years, and you look at the CPP, most especially the head of the CPP, Alexander Cummings, who has not worked in the government before in Liberia, then the case is clear as to who you need to give the next opportunity to. And the key that Liberia has is that 6 years, okay, 6 years. After 6 years, if we don't see what you have done or where the country is heading under your leadership, we cannot give you another more 6 years. We vote you out. That's the key.
But, my concern here is, in whatever case, like I said, unless some magic from somewhere. Any of the parties, the three parties play some magic from somewhere. And I can tell you that as the campaign draws down, as the curtain closes on the campaign, you see most of the, because we got up to I think 20 some more parties that are registered. You see that most of those parties, those smaller parties or new parties, will begin to condense, and then they'll be absorbed by some of those by any of these three parties. So it could be the CPP, it could be the Unity Party, it could be the CDC. Most of the other parties will be absorbed by those parties. But my question here is it healthy for us to continue to choke each other? Because if let's say and I can tell you if CDC goes with Unity Party in the second runner-up, United Party will now begin to look over its shoulder. Hey man, why the CPP people? Hey man, why the Liberty Party people? Why you're bringing, man, you can't join us? That's an incident that I see taking place. The same thing, if the CPP and CDC go second round, CPP will say, but I think we need to bring the United Party people. They don't got no more. In fact, they are the second largest party to the CDC. So they got to come to us. So and everybody will need somebody. That's the point.
Brother Linford. The reason why that everybody will need somebody is because we cannot do away with the ism. You understand? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah. If we do away with all the ism, right? We will know that okay, the CDC, the Unity Party and the CDC have failed the Liberian people. But because we have all these ism, and you understand, so that's the reason why we're going to look up, maybe count the Unity Party and the CDC as people that have solution for Liberia. But as I stated previously, until we can do away with all the different ism, the tribalism, the patronism, the friendship, and you name it, we have the key to our solution. And that solution is that these two political institutions, for example, they are three: the Unity Party, the CDC, the ANC. Now, we tried the Unity Party for 12 years. We tried the CDC for 6 years, but we have not tried the ANC for, 1 month or a year. We have not tried the ANC. And looking at the person who's heading the ANC, and sometimes there was a question that I saw the other time on one of these other talk show. For example, that, the ANC, they are not had leadership, they got no leadership experience. But how do you judge a person that have not had leadership before to say, that person is going to perform good or bad? How? That's the question, how? Yeah, and looking at where the leader of that particular institution is coming from, not from Liberia, for example, but has worked in the West. The same people that try to preach democracy to you, this person worked in the West and never one day been accused of embezzlement.
You see, Mark, the problem with our electorates is themselves. They look for their own trouble. Now, I will tell you something. I'm not old enough, but I have lived around here for some decades. If we go back to the Tobo days, when Tobo came, Tobo was not elected though. He succeeded President Tubman. And everybody was hailing Tobo. Tobo was the good guy. Tobo did well. I was just coming out. Tobo did well. And during Tobo time, nobody will ever imagine that Liberians would be the kind of people we are now. Then Tobo was killed, fast forward. And then we created that kind of song. Native woman born soldier, Congo woman born road. And I can't lie, I was sitting here. I was 1980. I was just a very young boy. in my teens. We paraded the streets of Monrovia because I live the hottest part in Monrovia, right on the capital Papa. Yeah, the police station opposite the main road on the other side, a place called Walvin. There I grew up. Okay, so we saw all the action. In fact, I was outside when the coup took place. The soldiers ran across the road. The police people ran. They came. My woman had a shop. They came. Some police guys slept all in the shop down there. We closed the shop. We all slept there until in the morning. We actually got to know what happened. And then the parade came. Oh, everybody started dancing from April all the way to May, June. People were in the street singing our song. We didn't know what lie ahead of us. I had this girl, this friend, a girl, just she was 5 years above me. She was from South Africa. She was a refugee in Liberia and Tennessee. They were she and myself working together, you know. And when I could took place, told me something that stuck in my head today. The guy said, "What happened out dancing?" The guy said, "Info, you know, your country is damaged now forever." I said, "What do you mean?" I was taking it for fun. I get trying to explain to me the very Mugabe that died. OU 1979 when OU took place in Liberia, the floating boat, Hotel Africa was filled. The floating boat, the South African delegation, not South Africa, Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, and that time we call Rhodesia. The delegation that came, Raoul Mugabe,
Rhodesia, the cousin of Queen Elizabeth C.C. Ross.
Yeah, he had an afro with a mustache, young, very young, slim Mugabe. When will I get on that boat? We ate enough thing. What we brought from there, some packs of popcorns and chicken. I said, no. That guy told me that thing because this is someone who has experienced it in their country. And I thought that guy was joking. From 1980 until now, Liberia is damaged. Then, after the scene though that people were healing, they told Doe to come down. And then they killed Doe. Taylor, election, they started singing song and song. Oh, you came up, you came up, I'll vote for you. And all based on popularity. After the voting, Taylor won landslide, but I saw it. We didn't even go a few years. Confusion started. Then, Ellen King. Oh, my Ellen. Bam. The poor one side. What about in Georgia King? The race, you know, something you noble, you not noble, I'll vote for you. 5 years time, Joshua begin the king on. They ain't about him. Then now, they are singing another song. You owe, you not owe, I'll vote for you. Whether you in wheelchair, you not in wheelchair, I'll vote for you. So this like people, we are new. I mean, we are some set of people in Africa and on earth. You know, I talked to some of my friends here, some white people, and they asked me certain questions that I can't answer. They asked me, why during your political campaign thing, why do people fight each other? Why, in fact, why did when we came as refugees? I want a bigger question we were faced with. Why you kill each other? Why you fight? I mean, why you look at somebody and just take and the same white men asking that question, yeah, they're killing people in Ukraine, but they make our situation to be special. Why you fight each other? Eh? Why, you know? So the question here is, what do we want? One day we'll finish somebody, then the next moment we are against them. Or I mean, our viewer, we are waiting for our guest. She's actually fighting hard to get on. She yet confirmed that she's coming on, but we get discussing local politics.
Brother Linford, first of all, I want to disagree with you with your last. I mean, with something you just said in your articulation with when it comes to this something they call white, right? Because there is no human being that is white, and there is
we can't call them like that because they say we are black, we don't call them white too.
Yeah, but we that use that particular or that articulate that particular nonsensical distinguishing when it comes to color, we give credence to this nonsensical behavior. You understand that you look at yourself and you accept to be black, and you look at other people, they are white. You make them to be superior. You understand? So that's the reason why, as my big brother, I mean, I want to disagree with you. But fast forward, you know, Brother Linford, as I said to you in one of my statements that I support the not the unipolar, but the multipolar system that is being created. Because you see this thing, when we go back 50 years ago, the Western supremacy, right? They were the dominant power. The IMF, the World Bank, after World War II, all institutions across the globe, more especially this West, was destroyed. America was the only infrastructure, I mean, besides the Japanese hitting Pearl Harbor, okay? Not 3 states in America, but Pearl Harbor, you understand? That was the only place that was hit in America. So American political technocrat, or how you call scientists, they managed to cajole the rest of the world in some banking or financial institution that today created what they call the Federal Reserve System, the World Bank, the IMF, you understand? But one thing is that education got no border, it got no limit. And it has brought us to where we are today. The creation, the establishment of the BRICS, you understand? That education has no limit, it has no border. So time is up. For example, what happened in Liberia when it comes to what you say about Talbot? When Talbot came to power historically, he tried to what they call higher hard total involvement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Talbot administration brought about, tried to make Liberia industrialized or semi-industrialized. If you had the opportunity to come across the philosophy of Marcus Garvey, okay, Liberia was where everything should have started as the first independent republic in Africa. Okay, the philosophy of Marcus Garvey, to make Liberia the industrialized country, because when the slaves came from America with the knowledgeable and technocrat ideology in Liberia and to expand. Now, Tobo tried to make Liberia industrialized. And there are 3 institutions. And sometimes I wonder the kind of journalists we have in Liberia, if they have done investigation as to how did Liberia get to where it is today. What is the root cause of where we are today? I always say, and I don't mind getting in trouble for that, Lamco Yekepa, Lamco Bicano, the Firestone, and the LMA, right? I mean LMC, right?
Yeah.
Okay. These mining company are the 3 problem in Liberia. And when the late president went after the 3 companies, tried to carry on some, for example, if anybody followed the Trump election, the NAFTA, right? The North Atlantic, I think, trade agreement, something between Mexico, Canada, and America. Mm-hmm. Trump said it was not in the interest of the American, right? And I like Trump because Trump was an eye opener to the rest of the world. When something doesn't benefit you, you go in a discussion, in an agreement, in a trade agreement, you got to negotiate what benefits your country. And if it doesn't benefit your country, you say, no, I accept that particular deal. It doesn't benefit my country, we got to renegotiate the deal. For example, like the National Port Authority, I dare you now, if the Liberian government, if this weird government, in as much that I don't like the weird government, if the weird government say, look, this particular trade agreement with MTA is not benefiting my country and my people, it poses a lot of strandability on my people to bring things to Liberia. So for that reason, we got to renegotiate the deal. You find these particular people that own our company, or those investors, oh, we're going to complain you, we're going to take you to the court, or blah, 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 blah. It's going to happen to we are administration. And we the same Liberian that complain that, oh yeah, when you send car to Liberia, it costs you X, Y, Z. And you understand? Mm-hmm. We're going to pushing we are under the bus. That's what brought the coup to Liberia today. And those people that came to Liberia, that put together those men that say, oh, Nete Umo Bonsoyo, they put they stay in Liberia, they cajole these 16 men, or I could be wrong, 16, or yeah, I think the 16, okay, from different battalions. That what led to the downfall of Talbot, because when he went after these people in the Tower administration, when you people that read history, like I studied the Tower administration, you had the gold medal factory, you had Scooby factory, you had iron factory, you had chicken soup factory, you had sugar factory, you had candy factory, you had biscuit factory, and a country of 2 million people at that time were exporting more than importing. So at that level, Liberia, we have favorite balanced account in international trade. The only thing we're exporting more was the rice. And he wanted to start producing rice in Liberia for the 2.5 million people.
Mm-hmm. Are you there?
Yeah, bro, Linfo.
Okay. Yeah. I'm getting negative feedback from the guest. She's really funny and difficult to get on, and I'm really disappointed because
Look, our problem in Liberia, Linfo, for example, if we are getting tomorrow and go against the Firestone, or go against those that are collecting our money and our maritime money, right? We are second to Panama now. Before we were first before Panama, but after the Suez Canal was completed, then we became second to the Panama, right? Because
no, that's
most
it.
ships,
That's it. We have two canals. So the Suez Canal is around Egypt, and the Panama Canal is what they use in Panama.
yeah, the Panama Canal. But
Yeah.
the Panama Canal, we came second to the Panama Canal. The canal thank you for that correction. The Suez Canal is in Egypt, but the Panama Canal, we came second because most countries were flying the Liberian flag before the completion of the Panama Canal. If we are get up tomorrow and say, okay, we want to collect our money, and no second party going to collect our money, trust me, you're going to find we are to be in trouble with certain people. The same thing at Firestone. If we are coming tomorrow to say, look, we no longer, there was a video I shared a few years ago, and that was during the last time of Evil Ellen. I call her Evil Ellen. One thing I like about Ellen, when Tony Blair visited Liberia, Tony Blair, and when they tried to bring about this nonsensical behavior, that's the only thing I like about Ellen. When she said to Tony Blair vis-a-vis that we are religious people, we are tribal people, we believe in our ethnicity, and we're not going to give into this nonsense. You understand? Or the nonsensical behavior of lesbianism or homosexualism. You understand? To promote that. And that is one thing I'm never going to take away from Ellen. Issue of being hypocritical, I don't believe that, but she was standing up for what she believed we as African people. Now, when she advocated for Firestone, the treatment of the people in Firestone, I believe she didn't go far because at that time she was the darling, first female president elected on the continent of Africa, right? I believe she should have gone further because Firestone, when it came to Liberia, through the same philosophy of Marcus Garvey, I got to read that it was 6 cents per acre. And how many lots you get on an acre? 4 lots on an acre, Brother Linford. And you plant almost 500 trees on an acre, Brother Linford. And you're paying 6 cents. Later on, $2.50 on an acre. And you got how many acres in the country?
But by the way, I lived in Habel during the wartime. We ran a radio station there, and
these same people that tell you about.
I had a friend. I'm just coming to portray you. I had a friend who was one of the superintendents of Firestone at that time during the wartime, between 1991 to 93. I was there, and this guy, we drove around the entire plantation, I'm telling you, guy had a brand new pickup, and he and I drove around the entire plantation. First, I took it for fun. I bought my beer and thing. We had it in the freezer. I was drinking. I guys were man, all the drink was finished before we even finished completing. And we didn't cover all of the divisions in Firestone because some of the roads were inaccessible. So I'm trying to let you know that Firestone is a whole county. Firestone is bigger than some of the new counties that they created in Liberia right now. Now, if I'm not mistaken, either Bapolo or one of these smaller counties, Firestone is big. We drove
If you put the
around
entire Firestone
plantation
together,
the entire day.
if you put the entire Firestone together, it can cover just Nima County and Grand Jida. You understand? The land space that Firestone cover. And then two, one of the reasons that the late president told, well, the Malaysia was part of what we call the Golden Triangle. The Golden Triangle, it was a drugs country of drugs cartel. Malaysia, Thailand, and Cambodia. And when you get the visa of any of these countries, you can never travel to the West. Now, when the Malaysian came to Liberia to get the rubber sand today, that Malaysia is one of the highest producers of rubber, and Malaysia decided to go industrialize. Malaysia is one of the countries in the Southeast Asia. If you take Singapore, the next country will be Malaysia. From Malaysia, then you come to Thailand before you go to Indonesia. But Cambodia, Burma, Laos, and how they call it, you name it, those countries, they are like any third world country in Africa or like any third world country, because they are not even up to the standard of Cote d'Ivoire or Senegal or maybe, or Nigeria. So when the Malaysian came to Liberia, in Grand Jida, I think Grand Jida had the biggest palm farm, what we call palm bay. You understand? Liberian men say palm bay. Those short palm tree. Malaysia gave Liberia, brought the palm sand, the palm bay tree, and some of them are around a fender area belt. And what Toba gave in exchange was the rubber sand. You understand? That the Malaysian took to Malaysia and they planted a lot of rubber. And when Toba got closer to the Malaysian, the Chinese, these were some of the reasons that brought about the coup plot against the old man. And it's very, very deep up to now. Liberian journalists are not even investigating as to how did we get to where we are today. And some of the things in Liberia, we think that, it's just, if you're not in the presidency, you're not going to understand these things. Sometimes, we criticize George Weah. Yeah. Some things that we are doing, for example, like building the 40 condominium or the 40, how they call it, duplexes and XYZ, enriching himself, those are his own doing. But there are few things that if you look for truth, if you take a deep look, you'll find out that our government is being played by some outside force. For example, the earlier administration, our Coast Guard, Brother Linford, is not sophisticated. Although concession, though well, right? Offshore, they are not on land, they are offshore. Brother Linford, what if I told you, they're going to say conspiracy theory, right? I talked to somebody a few months ago. What if I told you that some of those rigs, you have not discovered oil somewhere, but you go and build a rig worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You are not discovered oil, but you went and built a rig. But what if I told you that those rigs, some of those rigs, they are 150 miles off the coast of our shores? What if I told you that there are ships that are getting oil from those rigs now? What if I told you that?
Possibility.
Not sophisticated.
Possibility.
They're not sophisticated.
The bottom line here is, I will tell you something. The bottom line is when you have a people as a country dependent on someone else, that's what happens, because he that pays the piper selects the tune. We say that to say that when we depend on these so-called big brothers and everything we call on them, they will even decide what we should do. They will tell you, oh, your government is corrupt, you got to do this, as if to say we cannot see for ourselves to take action because we are not taking the actions that we need to take. So they come and dictate to us, they tell us everything, and rightly so, because why? They feed us, they tell us everything. Look, trust me, some of the big people you see in government today in Liberia, if you tell them sell all of your properties and go live in America, they will do it. Everybody wants to go to America. Everybody wants to go to the West. And so we got a dependency syndrome. I'm not correct. I'm not right, though. This is just my opinion. So we make ourselves vulnerable to all sorts of things. People will come and they will tell us, you need to do this or you need to do this. So, I read a book, and the writer of that book is a British guy, William Forsyth. By the way, that may not be his real name, that maybe a pen name, but he has written several books. And I read two of his books. One of the books I read for him is called The War, W-A-R of Words. W-O-R.
The War of Wars.
Yeah, The War of Wars.
Yeah.
If you read that book,
yeah,
William Forsyth. Then the second book I read for him is about the CIA and the KGB, and that book is called The Visible and Invisible Governments of America. If you read that book, you get to know that the Barack Obama, the Joe Biden, they are not the president of America. They're just the one that people, those are the visible government. But the invisible ones, you don't know them. And they even name, I think, Eisenhower, one of those presidents who became president. He became president for the 8 hours. When they took him to the Situation Room, then they introduced the real president of America, the invisible president. And guess who was the president at that time? The chief gardener in the White House was the mean president of America. And this guy was sitting there trimming in his pants, almost pee on himself. But what I'm trying to say is that those are deeper societies, and a country like Liberia, where 99% of our people do not even read and comprehend anything they read. Those that can read do not even know what they read, and some cannot even read at all. So we are almost like weightless, very light, and anybody can blow us anywhere. Now, you talk about our own major companies. How in the world that fires, you mentioned Malaysia, right? Malaysia is one of the newest people into business, into the rubber business, but Malaysia is the largest rubber producer in the world. The reason is that Malaysia is a conglomeration of different companies that planted that rubber. But Firestone is the single largest in the entire world, and we have Firestone to the point where after they signed 99 years contract with Firestone, that we cannot even produce a rubber fork or a rubber slipper. Or not, no, don't have a slipper. Balloon. We cannot produce balloon. We cannot produce even condom from rubber. That's a big shame for us. Okay. Then you got Lanco. They came and took all of our iron ore. Then the small short piece of road that if you strong, you can stand from Ganta and throw, from Sanikole and throw a stone to Yekepa. You will hit somebody. They did not pave that road. And as a result, by way of information, I grew up on the train track. My grandfather had a land on the train track, which we still have, somewhere in Kokoya. Okay. So I used to see they have something I think called the rail bus. Okay. It's a train, but it looked like a bus. Every evening, I will come from Bikana and go to Yekepa. There were two. Then one will leave Yekepa in the morning and come. The one I went in the evening yesterday, that one will maybe come in the morning, or it will stay there kind of the evening. Then, the two of them were always crisscrossing. And you know why those guys did that thing? Because they did not want to drive by road from Yekepa to Bikana, which would take them long. If the road not good, so they didn't care to put asphalt on the road. So they had a shortcut. Now the ordinary workers, our people, they the one who were driving car between there, and that road was just a road.
Brother Linford, as you talk about the what you call the invisible government, right? And then it brings me to what is there's a young writers, independent investigative journalists, because those are the people that I call real journalists. They are those people that work for BBC, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. Those people, they are all propagandists. You understand? Those are the real, what we call conspiracy theory, that are being paid by fat Tony. Yeah, fat Tony and fat government. There's this book that she published. It's called One Nation Under Black Male. And if you read One Nation, or you had the opportunity to read One Nation Under Black Male by Whitney Webb, okay, then you read The Color of Law. The Color of Law, except I look in my library and come, I think it's written by one Richard Rosenstein, something like that. It's going to tell you that the rest of the world, then you listen to this Joseph Barella, you will understand how these people come together and cajole the rest of the world. You understand? So just to buttress what you're seeing, for example, look at Liberia, a country of 2.5 million people before the war. Then you talk about a short road that couldn't be paved. Then anybody that laid bomb mines before, then you go up the hill where they got a staff quarter. Then you come to where majority of the people that are doing the work in bomb mines. Because I went in bomb mines, I played on a bomb ring field before where they got bomb ring united, you understand, on a couple of occasions. Then you go to Nima County, where you got a staff quarter. Lamco, where you got a staff quarter. Then you come to where the people that are doing the majority, where then you go to the LMC in bombing. Then you go to the staff quarter and you come to where the majority of the people, all those areas where the staff quarter, the people are paved. And this is across Africa. They built this area just for every train track that was built during those days was just for mineral extraction. All those so-called airports that were built, or those seaports that were built just for mineral extraction, but not for the economic benefit of the people of those countries.
Okay, for example, let me stop you right there. You see, a little bit fair. I think the discussion we're doing, we're trying to, more or less, we are like blaming the investors. We are like blaming the people who came with that company. And then they didn't do this, we didn't do that, myself and create of that accusation. We accusing them. But let's bring it back home. Mark, you live in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, maybe the weather in Sweden is better than Norway. So let me go to Mark. Say Mark got a place to live. Let me go find a job in Sweden to do. Or let me get.
I like where you're going, but I don't want to jump ahead of you.
Yeah. Then I come to Mark. Mark got a horse. Mark knows where the parts, everything's supposed to be. And Mark knows what he needs. Then I come. And Mark knows that I want to produce, while I live in the house, I want to do something too. I can maybe buy the right, I can buy the soup and thing. But Mark didn't tell me. But the little thing that Mark get, the little burger right that he used to take one month to eat, I joined him, we can eat in 2 weeks. Then Mark will go and buy more burger right. Mark not profiting anything from me, but Mark is not telling me what to do. And Mark knows that I can do it, but he's not telling me. So me too, I feel comfortable. I say, okay, maybe it feel good. I get we get eating it right. We use. In fact, we start using your clothes now. Then I draw it from you instead of contributing. So our leaders, they sign these contracts, knowing full well that these people that are coming, they're coming to get something from us, and we have these things that we want. Okay, and we can tell them, so no, listen, we can make it grand rules here. Say, no, listen, yeah, you take my IRO, but producer here, so that you can add value to it here. And in that process, you add more jobs. My people will get more jobs. The road that you're exporting your thing on, pave it. Okay? Our people who come in to work for you, improve their life. I told you I drove on the plantation in Firestone with my friend who was a superintendent. And it will amaze you that we went to some camps. One of the division, I think division 8. Division 8 or 16. No, 8. I mean, Mark, the people are living in mud house. The workers, mud. They build a house with mud. Your hair can go through the window. They get one small. I mean, you know, the parent people, our people, my parent people, they left only plenty children. So you see the people living there with 4 or 5 children. All of them in that just one room. They cook outside under the small kitchen, and they go in the home. Your hair can go through the window. And I wonder how those people survived. But these are the people who are producing. So our leaders sat there. They did not tell them, hey, you're supposed to build housing for our people. So who you blame? Should we just blame
Brother Linford, when it comes to that, this is where I disagree with a lot of people that put the blame, because I was also part of that parcel that blame our leadership in the past as to where we are today. You understand? I was one of those that used to heavily blame our people. But because of my philosophical engagement and international relation and international trade, then I got to know my eyes were open. You understand? As to why things were the way they were. You understand, when it comes to our leaders. Now, how many of our leaders, let us come to after World War II. Let us not go as far as, because World War II from 1937, right? Let us not go to the 1800s, right? But let us just come after World War II. How many of our leaders were privileged when segregation was very high to go to university in the West? How many of our leaders? Not even 2% of our leaders. Who were the master, the inventors of the gun after the gunpowders were discovered in China? Were the same Western imperialists. And who were the colonial master? Were the same West. Who organized the IMF, the World Bank? Were the same imperialists. Who sits on the Security Council at the United Nations? Were the same people. Who sit on a different committee to make critical decisions? Were the same people. And these things, they were hindrance to our leaders. That was one of the reasons you had the coup plot on the continent of Africa and South America, Asia, and the rest of the world. If they put you in for that, you don't serve their interest, they come to me and manipulate me because I was very limited, not as today. You understand? To turn against you, Linford, or they go through my tribal group.
Yeah, but I agree. I agree, Paul. Yeah. I agree, Matt. But the way I'm still confused, I can't get my head around is, yes, I agree. The bigger power, that's the big picture you're showing right there, where they control. I know about that control part, where they say do this or you do this. But in the instance where they come and they want to negotiate with us, they say, no, listen, we want this. We can pay you so amount. How difficult was it for our people to say, this one, if you take this one, you do this one? How difficult was that?
Yeah, it was difficult, Brother Linford, because reason why is that China, okay, some of us, I won't generalize it, we are not informed when it comes to geopolitics, right? China became part of the World Trade Organization 2002. When George Bush wanted to invade Iraq, he was one of the advocates, you understand, for China to become a member of the World Trade Organization. And since 2002, China has transformed the lives of over 800 million people, took them from poverty to middle-class people. You understand? Now, you got India. After China, India also has transformed the lives of over 700 million people. Then you got Brazil. You understand? You got Brazil. You got South Africa. Since 1994 to 96, the Mandela era. The only people that have not yet done enough is, for example, Nigeria. Indonesia has done enough. Brazil has done enough.
But all those countries you name me, all the countries you name me, they were all colonized before. India was colonized by
they were all
British.
colonized. But here is the thing: they were all colonized. But in Africa, we are easily manipulated by the imperialists to fight one another. Then the rest of these people that we're talking about, that even though regardless of corruption, they put the interest of the country first.
So you see, you're going to my point, and then I want to draw you back.
Yeah, but that was not done. That was not done.
Yeah, I want to draw you back to where you used to be to blame your leaders. You see, our leaders should be blamed. Okay, India will honor the British for years, and imagine how far India is from Great Britain. From one small tiny island like Great Britain, will go and take entire continent, almost a big country as India, that can be almost be 4-5 times the UK. Okay, in fact, England. Let's now put them with Ireland and say UK. Just England alone. Small tiny island that Liberia is even bigger than. Okay, now, but the point I'm making is that those people, those countries you named, okay, they stood their grounds. So if any of the imperialists went there to do anything to extract mineral or whatever, they would say, "Oh, this is what we want. Do this for us." Norway, I'll give you an example. Norway was one of the poorest countries. You Sweden, the Swedish people, they had Norway. For some time, they gave it to
Brother Linford, the reason those people stood their ground, I'm going to go into this, and that is one of the reasons that our guests, some things happen by, I don't believe in, if the word is right, mysticism, but things happen for a good cause. One of the things that cause hindrance to the prosperity of Africa, right, is this thing they call religion. The India you talk about, the China you talk about, or the Southeast Asia you talk about. India is predominantly Hindus, and China is Buddhist, or Buddhism is originated, I think, from Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, one of them, except I go deep into another book again. Buddha is not originated from India now. But when it comes to Africa and South America and the Middle East, you got Christianity and you got Islam that cripples both Africa and South America. Now, Christianity, what does Christianity have to do with Africa? Everything you read about in the Bible, where it come from? It comes from Palestine. Everything you read about in the Quran, where it come from? It comes from the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. So where is our own faith? Where is our own belief?
Yeah, but Mark, no, you see,
and these are imperialist institutions. These are imperialist institutions that indoctrinate us.
I would say try to draw you into something. There is no way that I will just squarely put a blame on these people. Let me tell you. I come from the Pele tribe, right? Pele and Mano and Basso tribe. Me. Now, there are some values that traditional values that our Pele people and Mano people, certain group of the Mano people, not into Nima County deeply, but yeah, on the edge of the two countries hold. So you are Mano, you are on the edge of the St. John River that divides Pong and Nima. That tradition goes there. So that is like the Poro society and all this kind of thing. Okay. So no matter how much power the people brought to our people still held these values. Both the Sunday and the Poro, they still held it. So the capability or the ability of our leaders to make decisions, I don't think it was ever influenced by anything like religion. The thing is, our people, let me tell you, the same example again. If I come to live in your house, you set the rules and I will go by it or I go out. You see,
Yeah,
I was trying to bring in the Norway factor. Norway was a poor country. The Danish poor country, this country, they didn't see anything. The Dutch, Sweden came and took it over. They used them, they dashed them. People were poor. Some of them ran away when the Black Death came, that big sickness that came. They ran away, they left, they went to America and stuff, blah, blah, blah. The country was one of the poorest countries in Europe you could think about. But when these people in the middle of the 60s, when they discovered that oil, what they did, when Americans came, they said, America, yeah, you can help us to start the process. And today, Norway is one of the best countries in rig building, okay? In building tunnels and rigs, Norway #1. Now, Norwegians did not just say, okay, you can say America, you got the technology to drill oil, you can get drill our oil and we'll be there, you'll be paying or no. They told them, teach us the technology. And this is what our leaders failed to do, especially in Liberia.
I will agree with you. I will agree with you, Brother Linford, that we did not. And one of the reasons to that is that we push aside, for example, what's the oldest university, one of the oldest universities, if possible, the oldest university, if life started in Africa, as archaeologists has from the West stated. And sometimes they say, oh, yeah, in Egypt. But I would believe that in a great Mali, where you got the Timbuktu, okay, university, oldest university. And if you ever read the, how you call it, Civilization, the Destruction of Civilization, or something by Professor Sheikh Anta Diop, I got it in my library here, you understand? Before the Ice Age, okay? The unapologetic anthropologist, African, Professor Sheikh Anta Diop, the biggest university in Senegal, Dakar, which is the Sheikh Anta Diop University. And, you know, Brother Linford, there are a lot of things that were the cause of our hindrance today. And we as African, we open our arms, we embrace people not knowing their intention until we are trapped. You understand? Like the lion, like the scorpion, or the scorpion and the frog signing an agreement to say, my man, yeah, the frog said, my man, I can carry you across the water. The scorpion said, oh, my man, yeah, thank you. Carry me across that water, my man, you and I will be the best of friends. But forgetting to know that the frog forgot to know that the scorpion, it cannot go without stinking something. Even a leaf, the scorpion got to sting that leaf. Even a dead tree, the scorpion got to sting that dead tree after every 5 seconds. It got on the frog back. While crossing the water, it even said go 3 feet. It sting the frog. The frog said, oh, my man, I'm feeling weak. He said, my man, well, you know my name Scorpion. They tell you say I can go with all stinging somebody with 5 seconds. My man said, well, why you tell me? The frog said, my man, why you tell me? The man said, my name Scorpion, I got to sting something. That's how we, the African, we embrace other people without investigating if these people. Then let us go back again, as I said to you, Brother Linford. You know, it's just a matter of time. If we don't create an environment, a win-win situation. For example, let us go back. There is something that when this issue, the incident in Libya, right, occurred in Libya. There was this journalist I listened to that, for example, let me just come to the recent issue, the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, or Malina. She said something, and I always share that video. She went after Macron. She said, Africa is not a poor continent, and the Africans are not poor people. But the reason the Africans are here, and the Italian, they wanted to become a global power when they went on the expedition of expanding their military power. Their first war was against Ethiopia, and Ethiopia defeated them. Now, fast forward, as she said, the Africans are not poor. When you got the Chad in Niger, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, going to dig the ground, gold, diamond, and you got the French making $600 million out of them. What do you think the people are going to do? They're going to fight hard across the Atlantic. The same as Libya, overthrow Gaddafi. Libya was, for example, a safe haven for a lot of people in Africa. They don't want to come. They don't want to come to the West. No, they stay in Libya. But you listen to that little interview. We have to create, at the end of her statement, fast forward, she said we have to create a win-win situation. Africa is not a poor continent, it's the richest continent. But we make Africa to be poor.
So with all of that understanding, we gotta start narrowing it down and we end up in Liberia. So what do you think we can do as Africans? Because like what we've been discussing here, it seems that we are getting to know the problem and we are getting to know the solutions. So what do you think Africans can do? Because the reason I'm asking, let me get modify the question. The reason I'm asking you is that there is a new opportunity on the horizon. We see something new coming called the BRICS, where it's going to be a bipolar. It's going to be universal almost, because it's open. That I understand some 30, 40 countries are expressing interest, and BRICS say those are open. So if we feel that, or Liberians, if we feel that, we've been dragged in the mud for so many years, and we ourselves have not done anything to better our situation, but then we're getting to know the problem, because one of the causes of the whole problem you just explained was that some of our leaders were not educated, they didn't know better and whatever. But now that we've got a new generation, people are getting to know. You and I, we are reading the history of our past, and we're getting to know where we were supposed to be, but we are not there, and where we're supposed to be going. Now, at least we have an idea of our problem. Should Africa as a continent embrace? No, there was a map I saw the last time on the internet. They mark this map red and the other one different colors, right? And all of the red countries, the countries that are turned red, are the countries that are intending or that are already in BRICS. Okay, and that caused the whole middle part of Africa, except a few countries in South Africa and in the north, the Arab countries. But the middle of Africa is all the, and Liberia was almost surrounded by that red. Can you imagine? So it means that a lot of countries have seen what needs to happen, and they want to do it now. That is the new chance, the new opportunity on the horizon. That is the BRICS. So should Africa go or lean towards the BRICS, or should we stay with our old devil we know, like we can say in Liberia, a good old deal with old devil you know, then the injury you expect?
Look, bro, Lemford, that's a nonsensical saying. And to, how they call it, agree and disagree with what you just said, for example, I believe that we should continue to test every system that come our way. Once you are in that particular situation, that you're looking for solution, you have to continue trying every system that come your way until you know what is best for you. And then two, the other day I was a little bit shocked when Mr. Cummings talk about some of these environmentalists or Western government that are in favor of, not carry on deforestation, right? So the problem we face today when it comes to this global warming and climate changing, it's not just 10 years ago. It has something to do with these same greedy people, imperialists, okay, when they were on a hunt of treasure, you understand, of wealth, doing forestation in Africa. For example, Berlin, you used to see how many logs used to come from Sano, from Maryland, from River G, from Grand Cru, from Nima County, from Grand Gide. How many logs those people used to cut down? Our mountain, for example, the Nima Mountain, the bombing, okay, the bomb mines. You think the climate change started today? No, it's something that started 100 years or 200 years ago when these people were on the treasure hunt, developing their society. You understand? But today, If you want to go and cut down thousands of logs in your forest, they say, oh, you're coming to cause trouble. The next thing they put sanction on you. You understand? And I was shocked when Mr. Cummings said, if you don't want us to cut our forest down, you have to subsidize us. Or else we'll cut the damn forest down, we cut the log down, and we sell to the Chinese or to the Russian or whosoever that want it.
Okay.
It was on our show when he made that statement. You
Yeah,
understand?
but wait, let me tell you the solution to that. And,
yeah, but I'm coming, bro, Linford. I'm coming because you asked a question, and I just try to to do a little bit. Now, for example, brother Linford, who controls the IMF? Who controls the World Bank? And have you come across what they call the flight money or the blood money? If you go, for example, now you take loan from the IMF, your country like Liberia, you take loan from the IMF, and these things, they are happening. You hear about George Weah or Ellen Johnson took 300 million loan from the IMF. They tell you, say, oh, you got to service. You had a loan here of 500 million. You got to service that loan of the 300 million that we're going to give you, service that loan, plus the interest rate. But we only gave you $50 million of that loan. You only hear about that money, but that money is not coming to your government. These things are happening. You understand? So we got a lot of things for which I believe that we should embrace the new system that is being created, financial system. We should have option. For example, if you're going to go to take a loan tomorrow in Norway, you got multiple options in Norway. Some banks will tell you, say, oh, we gave you 5% interest rate, we gave 14% interest rate, we gave 20% interest rate, a level you better lean for. But once you got the IMF, the World Bank, you got no option better lean for.
Okay.
For example, so, Norway go to take $100 million. And there's the lady, she's from, I think, Zimbabwe. Norway go to take, they call her ambassador, African something. Norway go to take $100 million loan. She get 1% interest rate. But Nigeria go to take the same $100 million loan. Nigeria get 10% interest rate. Come on, man. What the fuck is that, bro?
Okay, but let me ask you this question. No, we gotta be a little bit refined.
Yeah, they don't watch my man Joe Rogan because I like Joe Rogan.
So let me say this. You know, the reason I asked that question, whether we should stay with our old devil we know or embrace the new one, it goes like this. You got this girlfriend, you're clashing all the time. Well, Ali, you know how you can solve your problem. Then you see one new girl, and they get, you think, yeah, I think all my problems solved now. The other girl not for me, this and that, everything will be okay. And you jump behind the new girl, you need the old girl, Ali, you're honest to each other a long time ago. So, it's what I'm saying. I'm just laying the cart on the table.
No, bro, Linford.
It's a risky adventure.
That old girl and you have never understood one another. In this particular metaphor that you're trying to use, you have never understood one another because
so how guarantee you
because it was not a win-win situation for you, or it was only a win situation for the girl, or it was only a win situation for you.
Yeah, but how guarantee you will be going to the new girl that you don't even know anything about?
Yes, because with this new girl, you're gonna put your car on the table, that's why some
you already get set for the old girl, so you're gonna put your car on the table.
Women, okay, that's why some women, they believe from their past experience, they believe that you should tell them from the initial stage what you stand for and what you don't stand for, instead of when you get in the middle, then you say, oh, this wasn't what I signed up for. Better for you to tell them from the beginning. And that's the best way to move forward.
Okay. For the 2 more days today to go to elections, we talk about 1 month, 12 days. If we take the normal calendar month, it will be, let's just make it all month 31 days. So it will be 1 month, 11 days for the 2 days. You see, and we've been talking about these elections for the past 5 years. And guess what? Few weeks we're here, we're counting in the hundreds, right? So 120 more days, 100 days and that.
Exactly.
And today we are 42 days to the elections. And as it stands, various opinion polls or various polls that people are projecting out there from different sources, there is yet no clear winner. You know, uh, people don't win elections by polls, though, but the poll can dictate or it can suggest the course that people will follow. And I want some polls will say, oh, President Weah is leading, followed by GMB, and followed by Mr. Cummings. Then some people will say, oh, GMB is leading, followed by Cummings, followed by President Weah, who is the incumbent. Then some people will say, oh, Cummings leading, followed by Weah, followed by GMB. It just makes space. So as it stands, if you were to give your practical analysis of this election, say you appear on BBC, you appear on Al Jazeera, and they ask you as a Liberian, where do you think the electorates will lean, given the factors that the present government has practically failed the Liberian people, and then the Unity Party was there for 12 years. They didn't do anything much either. And then the CPP have never taken power. And so the people are very unsure. Where will you tell your interviewer that the electorates will lean? Say, consider say you're on the BBC or you're on CNN or Al Jazeera or whatever.
Yeah, Brother Linford, one of the reasons that we find ourselves in such a predicament today that we cannot just determine as to where the election is heading is because of the mindset of the Liberian people. We have people, I mean, I'm speaking metaphor or figuratively now that we still yet don't believe in accountability when we believe in this friendship or tribalism, ethnicity or patronism or connection kind of a stuff, you understand? For which we don't believe in what is real or seeking actual facts and justice. So, for example, the Liberian came together before the passing, may his soul rest in peace, of Councillor Charles Walker Bronskin, then followed by Mr. Cummings, former Vice President JMB, then came on board, how you call Benina Euro, right? Liberian people supposed to investigate actually what was the cause that led to the breakaway of the CPP that the Liberian people requested for, that would have been the ultimatum and the alternative for the CDC, right? Now, that organization was destroyed. And who was the cause? People try to point finger at Mr. Cummings. Now, things have unfolded from the coastal now to the Benina Ure. Do Liberians believe in the truth? You understand? If Liberian people believe in the truth, and actually what unfolded that led to the breakaway of the CPP, and Mr. Cummings stand his ground and built his case, Liberian people, most especially in the opposition bloc, majority will gravitate towards Mr. Cummings after what came out of Costa, what came out of Benina Ure, and what even came out of Joseph Baka Muff, how he went to trash talk Mr. Cummings on one or two occasions, which Mr. Cummings had never done before. You understand? Then, if you look, for example, the argument or the CDC attacks on the Unity Party, why CDC doesn't attack the CPP as it attacked the Unity Party? You understand? Because the CDC got nothing on the CPP. The only people they can attack is the Unity Party. For CDC prefer to lose power to the CPP than to lose power to the Unity Party. It's going to go blood for blood if it comes to the CDC losing power to the Unity Party. But if it comes to CDC losing power to the CPP, CDC will easily, you understand, with no fights or runner to the CPP than to the Unity Party. Because Unity Party, for example, former vice president, some people want to justify, say, oh, yeah, the former vice president, he was sitting there. But that's the only position in government that served between two institutions, the executive branch and the legislative branch. So you can sit there and say, oh, yeah, this is a powerless position that this person served. The person that served between two different institutions is a powerless. And you say this person with 42 years experience, you living off a loan, you taking loan from a banking institution. Come on. Since you worked for 12 years as a vice president, which was the highest earning of your professional career as a politician, what have you created? The other day, a brother and I were having this this kind of a chat, friendly chat. I'm like, he said, oh, yeah, the former vice president got farm. He's an agriculture specialist. I said, what kind of farm are you talking about? Farm to sustain his own family, or a farm, how do you call it? What was the term I used again? Farm to produce crops to sustain the Liberian or for marketable. You understand? And he couldn't give me any answer. I said, okay, the next time you want to talk to me, you talk about the former vice president, have a farm, okay? He's into agriculture. Then you should try to tell me that or distinguish what kind of farm he has, if a farm to sustain his family or is a marketable or a commercial farm, and what kind of crops does he produce on the market that the Liberian people, to help the Liberian household consumer. So if I was on a BBC or any kind of international media station and they asked me the Liberian people, I would say that, for example, our people have problem when it comes to what is right. You understand what is right and how to make a wise decision when it comes to leadership, because our people, they always have this problem of tribalism, patronism when it comes to leadership, but they don't vote for the person based on accomplishment or what this person is capable of doing when it comes to the country. You mute info.
That's our opinion, and that's what this program is all about. The bottom line is about our opinions. We discuss the issue, we give our opinions, and like we always say, Mark is not right in his opinion, but he's not wrong either, because that's how he sees it and that's how he thinks about it. So if I could ask any other person the same question, maybe they'll give different opinion. But my take on that is that, like you rightly said, three of the leading parties in the ensuing elections right now, the three of them have their cases to make, one, but two stand out already cross-examined. What do I mean? Like, the three of us got case, we go to court, and the judges or the judge has already heard the other two parties, the other two people, but they never heard me, my side of the story. And we are all accused of the same crime. But so the judge cannot automatically pass a judgment on me because they have not heard my side of the story, but at least they have heard the other two people's side. So I'm saying this to say that the United Party was there for 12 years, which is 2 consecutive terms. And arguably, anybody from outside will argue, or against the United Party will argue and say, you were there 2 terms. You spent your first term. And so if you knew that you had certain things that you wanted to do and you did not do in your first term, you had your second term to do what? To correct your mistakes, to correct your shortcomings. Where you fell short in your first term, you had a second chance to fix it. But even your second term became worse than your first term. So it means you did not have any solution. Then CDC came, and according to them, they inherited what the Unity Party left. Now, but they even performed dismally. Their fingerprints are still on the wall. In fact, they are still in power. So that can count against the 2 parties. But here is the CPP, Mr. Cummings. He had never even worked in government. So nobody can point to anything and say, oh, we can trace you from here, there. No. And so this is where the problem lies. A lot of Liberians are saying, well, but we don't what this man will do, and they could be right to say that because they're looking only at the context of somebody working in the Liberian government, but they're not looking at where this person came from, what this person has been doing. And Liberian people, like I said before, we are special kind of people. The more you wound us, the more you hurt us, the more we tend to love you, the more we tend to know you.
Uh,
Yeah?
Berlin, for Liberia and most African countries, for example, unlike the West, we don't have the kind of a political institution that have been around for 30, 40 years or 50 years, you understand? That people can relate to, say, okay, during this particular time of this particular political party, there was success, and during the time of this particular, political party, there were, infrastructure development, or there were financial development, or there were, how they call it, social development. So we are still struggling, first of all, to identify or to find a political party that we can relate to say, okay, during the time of this political party, for example, like how our older people used to refer to the Totmont era, you understand? They will say, oh yeah, Totmont town, oh yeah, Totmont town or Totmont town. So most African countries in Liberia, we still struggling on a particular path. So we just have to keep trying. But if you, again, the ANC, the CDC and the Unity Party just going to be around. If the Liberian people were honest to themselves, Unity Party going to be a party that going to hang around until if I go all around to all the other political party and the Liberian people cannot find somebody to deliver them and say, okay, let us try Unity Party one more time under a new leadership. But until then, Liberian people are not just going to give into Unity Party leadership, most especially. Berlin, you live in the West. For example, the chief executive officer of your organization that you work for in Norway, when they say 8 o'clock, that's 8 o'clock. When they say 7 o'clock, that's 7 o'clock to start work. Sometimes you are at work 30 minutes before that time. The chief executive officer sometimes 40 minutes before that time. Then you look at the chief executive officer of the whole country in a particular age that's supposed to put in between 12 to 14 hours between you and I here. Sometimes the people in Africa, you find the people in the parliament, in the legislature, 2, 3 o'clock, they are arguing, they are debating. In Africa, after 6 o'clock, why 6 o'clock? After 4 o'clock, the man either home or is some beer parlor with the country car, to some beer parlor with the country car, the Senate plate on it, or the representative plate, or the minister plate on a car to a beer parlor or to a restaurant. He hanging out after work. Who paying for that gas? Who paying that driver? Who paying for that security? So we are far yet, brother Linford,
Yeah,
from
we are far, but I think, my thing here is that when people look at the reality and they pretend they don't see it or it doesn't exist, that's where my problem
and
comes in.
these are the reason these guys are trying to cajole the majority against Cummings, because you as a minister or deputy minister or some director in Cummings government, you're not going to take the government car 5 o'clock, or 6 o'clock when Mr. Cummings come in and he found out that, oh yeah, the government deputy minister or senator, he got the government car, while the government paying for gas, miscellaneous, XYZ, and he got a government car in the street 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, all the kind of nonsense. That's the reason why they put a cajole some of these people to stay, to kick against Mr. Cummings, because a lot of changes going to come in Liberia. For example, like Alassane Ouattara, I disagree for one or two reasons with what happened in Cote d'Ivoire, okay? But during his time of Houphouët, historically, from one or two reading, right? Alassane Ouattara, when he was prime minister during Hufo administration, no government minister or director you carry a government car after 6 o'clock, they find you in the street. Even your wife not supposed to ride a car that carry government license plate. They take her from that car and they take that car from her. But for example, in Liberia, you got ministers and things, their wives using government license plate, family member using government license plate. Where the taxes coming from? They ain't paying taxes. They gave government license plate to their friends and stuff there. So these are some of the reasons they put against Mr. Cummings.
Yeah. Okay. So, but actually, our time is fast spent. We should have been out of here a long time because our guest, and let me just update people on our guest. She tried coming in. She actually got on, but then the internet is very, very bad. And she can't stay on. When she comes in, the system will kick her out because the internet is weak. And so we very, very much apologize for not appearing, for the guest not appearing. And for those of you who are stuck with us, we also want to say thank you for your patience. Without you, we would not be here, and without us, you will not be here. So it's a teamwork. When we are here, you are here, and when you are here, we are here. Or together, we can make a show. If you get joining us for the first time today, we want to say this is the bottom line. It's the biggest European platform so far we're trying to build. And by the grace of God, one day we'll get there. The room was not built. You know, we live in Europe, and where's room? Room is in Europe, right? They say room was not built. You know, this time it took I don't know how long it took to build room though, but we get in there. You know, and these things, this is technology. You got some of the platform, you go there, you see 4,000-5,000 people. Then some of the platform, you go, you see 20, 25, 30. Now you got to read between the line yourself. You know, we can, if we want to, we can go 4,000-5,000 right now. We can generate. You can generate people on this thing, but we keep our audience as it is because we talk to real people. You generate 500,000 people who not people. That just robot. The same way when you take a phone, you call. If I'm not home, my answering machine will say leave message. So you're not talking to me, you're talking to the machine. So we can generate people. So don't let it no more confuse you. Oh, the government few people know. But if you go back on the past shows, you'll see how many people follow afterwards. And so we encourage you to be here. We come on every Tuesday and Friday. So coming up next will be Friday of this week. And we'll be bringing you another fresh edition of the program, the bottom line. We always hear, or Jamar Kamara is not here today, or Paul is in Liberia on the grounds and doing some work. And by the way, Paul greeted us, say hello to the bottom line Liberia family. And we want to recognize few of our people, those whose names we can see, Mona Clipper. Mona Clipper was on some kind of holiday somewhere, was it Greece or somewhere in Europe there. And so I think she just returned. So she said, "Oh, a long time ago, we have not been on." And then we also have our regular, when I say most regular and committed viewer, Chadela Brown Chilliplay. And also we had Merula Mo. You know, Merula is also one of our regular. Even if I go on my private life to do my private show, Merula is there. And you know, there are certain people, Mark, there are certain people in certain organizations who actually make things happen. Merula Mo is one of those people. Every ANC event, she will share. If she had the opportunity to be present at every live for ANC, she will be CPP should be there. She's one of those people. And one is Miata Dakina and a few other people.
Yeah, Miata, I can remember Miata very well. She is everywhere when it comes to the CPP. Yeah. You know, it's the captivation of a man philosophy and ideology. You understand? Mm-hmm. So if for me, I live in Asia before, and one thing I love about the Asian that make the Asian unlike the African and the South American, the Asian were able to liberate themselves through what is called imitation. And until we as Africans study what they call imitation, for example, if you go to Thailand today, Thailand is supposed to be like 60 some more or 70 million people, right? The production in Thailand, 80%, Their clothing, whatsoever, is local made. Only those super rich that you find to go in the store to even buy what they call Versace, Armani, Boss, and you name it. But they wear their local clothes. But for example, you go to Liberia, a country of 5 million people, you start producing, for example, jeans. You name it any kind of name you want to give a local name. Your people, first of all, they are not nationalistic to say, oh, there's one of our better producing the jeans, or one of our better producing the shoes, or one of our better producing this. But they want to take their money and go buy Boss, the Armani. But if you go into the history of these people, these are the same imperialist kind of institution, you understand? So we have to copy how the Asian managed to liberate themselves from the imperialist West. And until we do that, we as African, we got problems. For example, you call country rest. Country rest thing is still on people's stomach, you start complaining. Yam. But the Nigerian man will go to how they call it, the restaurant, you will eat yam. Nigerian man will be okay with yam.
Yeah, I think the whole thing has to do with the mindset, the way we program our minds towards certain things, because it's all about knowing what you want and accepting what you have. I got to accept a lot of things after I left Liberia. These people where we live, these people got practically nothing, but they're very content with what they have, their food and whatever. You see them eating that dry bread in the morning, they put potato inside, eating it, all they got. Okay, we too, Liberia man in the morning, he eat, right? I remember we used to go to work, man, to ELBC. We had a old man, 4 or 5 different old man that come. Then we got to inspect, old man, where you get a cassari, where you get pambana, where you get beans, See one man saying that behind that big bowl, right? But you got to accept it. And guess what? After, when I came to Norway, we're not eating rice every day and whatever. So the first time I went to Thailand, that was 2007, and I went to a restaurant, right? I mean, I went to I was in the hotel. So I went to the restaurant in the morning. I go see the people, man. You see a guy with a big bowl of rice, a plate of rice. I said, well, what the bread? They said, they get bread. I said, what? They had to go buy bread for me. Go, now you want to eat that right. So you see, the thing here is that the way we fix our minds, the way we think, the way we decide to do things. And again, one thing about Liberian people, when they say we can't, Liberian ain't no time, Liberian can't follow Lord, all this is a lie. It's because we are home and we decide that, okay, I will not do this. It's just like the child with the parents, when you say, okay, they say no, but take a child and carry to a strange person. The strange person say, okay, you see a child running, go in, because they know that strange person, they scare
yeah, but brother Liver, I would disagree when it comes to that. Liberian men only know times when it is being cheered by somebody outside his block. You understand?
Yeah, but exactly the point I'm making.
Exactly. But when it comes to own Liberian, even within our own ANC or CPP, you call meeting, for example, Mr. Cummings going to be here 20 minutes before that meeting. But the people that follow Mr. Cummings, some of them start coming 10, 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
Why minutes are used to Mr. Cummings? What did you say?
It's not just only Mr. Cummings. This is African something.
Yeah, but how many? Tell me now, the same people. How many of them can go to work late in Europe or in America?
Exactly.
Yeah, but exactly. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Because
so we don't respect. I'm buttressing you. We don't respect our own self.
Okay. So we got to change our mind. We got to change our mindset. You see, I got a joke about my cousin who won TV. The guy won TV. The guy also travel on the money, right, to America after all the war. You know when the guy went to the airport on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
He spent the whole Saturday. He slept there. They said go home. He said no. He spends on it. Then before morning they fly. So and he himself told me the story. So you see, Liberian men, when it comes to our own thing, we say, oh, look at, even we're talking about government, Liberian men, they say that government car, they don't respect government car. Hey man, Mark, you pay 1 cent for the car. They take the car, they give it to you. They put gas inside. They give you even driver, so you can swing your body. Then you say you're gonna go America. So you see the mindset? See the
Mm-hmm.
mindset. So we got to change the whole no, let's we got our problem is the mindset. That somebody will look at bad governance or people who are in government that have been doing all the bad thing. They say that the person will know will go. The mind. So no, listen, we gotta work on our mind, and then we not. You don't expect God to come down to us. You know, something I think I was talking with somebody, then they say, oh, God will come. I said, let me tell you, all the things we can talk about God. No, God gave you, God in the Bible, God say, go and do this. God gave you the mind, the hand, the feet, the everything. God will like, yeah, maybe something around thing, no hand, no, maybe only hair for you to eat. Or even you don't eat. God, yeah, maybe you can't do anything. So say you want to depend on God, then he'll do everything for you. But God gave you hand. You even know God. Whenever God took our hand, you can eat. So who God will depend on that? We all depend on God. God say you get hand, go and work. So you can eat. Say, no, I'll say that God can't help me. No. See, God has given us a mind to think. And God will not come and open your mind and say, no, this is bad and this is good. He gave you the sense. Why can't
No,
you say?
Lenva, the thing that Liberian need or Liberia need is somebody who's going to inspire the entire country. And I believe the only person that have what it takes to inspire Liberian to know that Liberian have seat, entitled to a seat at a table and need not to be what they call a spectator, but actual player in their own economy and as to where they want the country to go is Mr. Cummings.
And
Yeah.
the
There are
mindset
some
of
places that I disagree with Mr. Cummings, but for me,
your people now, they don't accept that. You see where the problem lies?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna take time, brother Lane. For example, Mr. Cummings, this going to be his second election, right?
Hmm.
And compared to some other politicians in other African countries and Asian countries and Europe, been running to be prime minister, they try more than 3 different occasions. At the fourth time, they become prime minister. Try for presidency. Look at Joe Biden. How many times Joe Biden tried to be president of America? He tried on more than 7 occasions. At the end of the day, he president of America. Obama only tried one time, he became president. Donald Trump only tried one time, he became president. Hillary Clinton, 2 different occasions, never. Bill Clinton, one time, he became president. George Bush, one time, he became president. Jimmy Carter, 2 different occasions. The second time, he became president. Richard Nixon, 3 different occasions. The third time, he became president. So Liberia, Mr. Cummings, this is the second time. And for me, I gave credit to Mr. Cummings. Succeed or not, Mr. Cummings has built something. Look at where he took the ANC from as a political party, as an organization, an institution to what ANC has become today. Who could believe it that today ANC will be one of the talk about political institutions, if possible, the party of alternative that people looking at say, had it not been for some nonsensical issue or Joseph Barker being selfish and say, look, Cummings is a young person and he has what it takes to run this country. Like you listen to this former, I think, senator from Maryland County, right? Who
Yeah,
said that
Balu.
Cummings is qualified
Yeah,
and he's
John
a
Balu.
blessing to Liberia, right? And Joseph Baga said, look, you when they phone the CPP, right? To say, hey, I'm an older person. I'm going to be some advisor to you guys. Just see about my pension and X, Y, Z. But let us put our weight behind Cummings. You understand? But now, we won't be talking about CDC today. George Weah would have known that. He and whole CDC group would have known that it's a one-way knockout. You understand? Never to return. You understand? Ticket. But because of this kind of a nonsensical power greed today, that is why we are here having this discussion today. But I believe Alexander Benedict Cummings is the person to move this country forward. Yeah.
Wow, good. On that note, Mark, I would like to say thank you so much. It's been a very hard night for just the two of us to sit here and talk when our colleagues are not with us. And besides that, we should have had a guest, but the guest tried so many. I give her credit. She tried. I saw her appear like 2-3 different times, but every time I try to bring her on, the system will kick her out. These are some of the things we're talking. Our country in this modern time, our country like Liberia, which is 170, almost 177 years now, that we cannot get internet. Can you imagine? This is disgusting. There are people got internet everywhere, every forest. We are living in a mountainous area. You can go between every mountain. You got internet.
I mean, bro, Linford, sometimes if we continue to talk like this, the topic gonna continue and we might not leave from here. You understand?
No. Actually, I'm not soliciting you, though. I'm just expressing my own dismay.
Yeah, your own opinion. But these things they got other external connection as to, for example, the French, the American. Don't you think they can help Liberia to have a fast internet speed in Liberia? But do they want to? Or the Canadian, or the Swedish, or the Germans? You think they want to? No, they don't want to. So these are the reasons that technology, education got no border.
But
expanding today.
These are some of the places where I don't agree with people.
The other day, sorry, the other day I was in the UK, right? For a couple of days, in England specifically. I was in London. And every time you place a call in London to most of the organization or institution or companies, you know where their call is being answered? It's in India.
Yeah, of course.
India. Every time you place a call in England, you're calling for something, somebody is answering you from India. You understand? Who know today that India, or who knew today that India, of all country, that the British people, how many millions of people, hundreds of millions of people die in colonialism under the British Empire, you understand? Or today the Indian. But do you think they want to share with you and I, the African? They have what it takes to share with us, but they don't want to.
Yeah, but because our leaders not making efforts. Our leaders do know. So we got we got a Trump card, but we're not using it.
Yeah. But today the Chinese men are building a ministerial complex. They will come to you. They say, "Oh, be careful with the Chinese. Be mindful of the Chinese." The Chinese men are building your airport. The Chinese men are building your airport. They tell you, "Oh, be mindful of the Chinese people." But if you go to the whole depth of Africa, who own 98% of Africa debt? The West. They own 98% of Africa debt. The Chinese only own maybe 2% of Africa debt. But the same road they will land on, the same airport they will land on, the same seaport they will be taking a goods through that is built by the Chinese. To tell you, "Oh, my man, Linford, you be mindful of the Chinese. The Chinese want to take over African." Man, shut the hell up, man. Yeah, bro, Linford.
Yeah, it was a good night, and we hope to be here on Friday, folks. So make sure you join us, and we can't promise, but we may have a guest, and this time I think we should be looking for a guest somewhere where the guy is still with internet, because we can't continue announcing the guests when the internet system is so bad. And this is the kind of Liberia that we want to change. It was a good time, Mark, and we know that we did our best. We gave our opinions on the issue, and I know somebody agree with us and somebody disagree with us. But I mean, that's it. But we'll be here on Friday again. Like I said, good night to all of you. Good night, Chadela, and everybody else that are watching us. God willing, we'll be back here on Friday, and this is how I'll let you take you home.